This is the W2 report with Sanji Himura. Here's Sanji.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of the W2 Report. I'm your host, Sanji Himura. Today, we are going to take a look at Nexus Mods and NFTs. And we're going to take a look at an update on the Stop Killing Games movement. But before we proceed any further, let's go over the ground rules with Lord Crocker Squirrel as always.
Rule number 1, do not be the dick. Rule number 2, if you think you might be, then please refer to rule number 1. This also goes for any questions or attempts to stalk anyone we're talking about. Just don't, okay? Chill.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are also proud to present Mr. Lindgren.
Yeah, it's okay. The movement is aimed at me. I'm not admitting to anything, but yeah, the body count is classified on how many games I have personally strangled to death.
I don't know if those are the rules on body counts. Yeah, no, I'm up there with a fairly good a large collection of serial killers from all over the planet. Think about that for 2 seconds.
I will say 3 of those were not me because they did have classified information on Hillary Clinton, which drove them into a clinical depression.
Right, got it. No, we're talking. No. How many games have I throttled to death? A lot. There's a lot of them. There's so many. Hell, I strangled more games in a week than Karen Ridgway did in several years.
Okay, bringing up the rear, we have Mr. FCAT returning once again. Welcome once again, sir.
No Diddy, but yeah, I'm here.
All right. Before we forget, we have our W2 Report live shows coming up. Actually, in about a month, we're going to hit Anime North Texas in Irving, Texas on August 1st through 3rd, 2025.
Which he's going to be doing by himself unless for some reason he manages to increase the bandwidth limit on his phone.
Oh, I was able to do that while I was out of state the last time. I wasn't able to replace the phone, but I was able to increase the bandwidth.
Well, that's at least something.
At least it's something. So with that, August 1st through 3rd. So if you happen to be in the neighborhood of Irving, Texas, please visit the West End in Irving, Texas, and come check us out.
He will be there in person. I might maybe deign to turn up virtually.
Yes. Mr. Lindgren might turn up virtually as well. We are in the middle of hashing out details on that as well. February 6th through 8th, 2026, you will see the Crocker Squirrel and myself in person at the Washington State Gaming Expo.
Assuming they'll let us. But he's still paying for the tickets.
Yes, I'm still paying for the tickets.
Tickets to get into the show, that's on him.
Yes. So with that out of the way, we are going to be at the Washington State Gaming Expo on February 6th through 8th. So
I challenge you to find the Crocus girl if you're trying to take you off the knees.
yes.
Remember, I bite. Well, no, my Steam profile says just that. Careful, I bite.
So
And it says nothing else, actually.
So we are planning on doing a duo show while we're there. And at Anime North Texas, we are telling war stories of 4 of our most popular news stories that we've told on our channel so far in our careers.
Oh boy! So I should start breaking out some of my old Digihom material.
Not quite. We were remember Squirrel. We were cutting our teeth when Zonatron Productions were a thing.
Well, you know, but you were at least about when I was dealing with Digital Homicide.
Yes,
You old Digihom. So I'm going to count my channel on top of it. Ha! Why? Because I'm an ass. And not only am I an ass, you knew that when you decided you wanted my help.
Yes.
I warned you in advance. I'm an ass. But being an ass is not the same as being a dick. There's a huge difference. If you're pulling Richard relocations, we don't want to hear it. Don't tell us. We don't want to know.
All right. Let us pause 10 seconds for channel identification before we go into our main story of the week.
This is the W2 Report with Sanji Homura. Here's Sanji.
All right. Nexus Mods was sold about a couple of weeks back.
It's been about 3 weeks since Nexus Mods was sold, and they said they weren't going to do anything that was going to affect us directly. The mods would all be free. Yeah, that's turning out to actually be a thing. They have a different idea, an idea that will not end well.
Right.
In my opinion.
Right.
The NFT craze died a while back, and there's a reason for that.
I heard about this. I heard about the Nexus CEO or whatever was leaving due to emotional damage or something.
No, you're talking about Robin? No, he's still around.
No, somebody left, and that's why they sold it. Or like the owner of it.
Well, the owner is Robin, and he's just fine.
Yeah,
Victor and their friends.
Yeah, so why did it get sold off?
Because
it was too much. It was just too much for him to handle.
That's what I mean.
Especially by himself.
Yeah.
Because maybe somebody hasn't noticed, but that's a very large site. And if you have to try and keep track of all of it, you're going to have issues.
Right. Yeah.
Are they censoring the mods now?
Nope. No more than what has always been. I will go with that.
Far, no large changes.
But they're going to try and do NFTs, and I'm thinking, yeah, that won't end well. It won't.
Yeah.
It won't end well because it's not about to. I don't even know why they'd want to do that. But you know, if you get like 3 or 4 whales that are just gonna buy all the NFTs, fine. I don't care. That's their money. What does concern me, however, is if they're going to try and support the site entirely on NFTs, that's going to turn into a problem. The NFT thing was a fad. Somebody came up with it, a bunch of retarded-looking monkeys, the little pictures, and you actually didn't own a fucking thing except an identifiable copy of your picture.
Well, Ubisoft did it first, I believe, and people pushed back on it when they did the whole special mask thing in Ghost Recon Breakpoint.
Yeah.
But right now, there's a game actually on consoles. It's an NFT game, and it's called Off the Grid. It's still on there.
I have heard tell of this. This was like an X-Bone thing. Was it not?
What's that?
Was it a Microsoft thing or a Nofrendo thing?
I don't know how it works, but it is classified as an NFT blockchain game on Epic Game Store.
Well, EGS is an entirely different issue. Steam actually refused blockchain games.
So on console, there's a separate payment that you pay, and it gives you like stuff, and you can sell things on the digital market or something like that if you extract the cool stuff. I don't know.
Well, you know what? They did something similar with Diablo 3, and everybody threw a fucking fit.
The YouTuber John has actually done a great series on where he reviews NFT and blockchain games, and they've all turned out to be horrible in terms of actually being games.
Well, I know there was
plagued with them, and I hate it because every time I see blockchain NFT, I'm like, nope.
Well, most people would be.
You and about 100% of the gaming audience. There's a reason NFT games have not been successful.
The only ones that I have that are NFT are Off the Grid and Shadowline. But I played Shadowline before, and I actually liked it. I didn't know that it was an NFT game till later, and I was like, "Oh fuck, what the?"
Yeah, what the hell the fuck was this?
Yes, let's actually read the article.
Why don't you want to do that? We've already got opinions on NFTs.
Yeah.
It seems like we're all pretty much on the same damn page.
Yes, we are. But the new owners of Nexus Mods, a person by the name of Victor Frohlman, actually has a gaming startup monetization cheat sheet.
Ooh.
And it actually has monetization models from anywhere from free to earn, play to earn, microtransactions, pay to play, and subscription models over here.
Pay to earn, yeah, that was a thing. I remember seeing that on his cheat sheet.
And yeah, all of this is going to not end well for modders. If you want to tell the truth, because I personally don't know where Nexus Mods would fit into this model.
It doesn't.
Spoiler, it doesn't. You're right. But if they want to, okay. So Robin for a long time wanted to monetize mods,
And every time he did, they people got pissy, and he stopped trying after a bit.
Yeah.
And him selling Nexus Mods for millions of dollars is his way of rubbing it in people's faces and saying, okay, I quit, but on the other hand, though, I made millions of dollars off your backs.
You know what? Everybody I know of that has ever started a business looks onwards towards the day they can sell it. And Robin is not an exception. This is just the business cycle. whether it's an IPO, if it's bringing on a bunch of partners that is slowly reducing the amount you've got invested in it. Any one of these things, you buy into a business on the expectation that you will get that you will have a direct economic return.
Mm-hmm. No, and Robin actually didn't really make that money off of their backs per se, because it's like I remember Spiderweb Software did a GDC talk that was like about Steam, and basically the modders provided the content, but Robin did provide a service to those modders. Because he got those modders in front of it. It's like he managed to connect the modders with the audience.
See, and that actually, ladies and gentlemen, is a thing that is nice to have.
Yeah.
For example, and I know some of you are not familiar with all of these. Steam is one. Yes, I can connect you. I have a game. I'm putting this out. I want it on this launcher, and I can connect you to its audience. If you're willing to come along. Okay, for this, Steam charges, I believe it's 30%.
Yes,
a bit less than that for Epic. But any of the places like this, Des 3D, for example, they supply not just that. They supply not just the place to put it, not just publicity, but also tech support, and they charge half.
Yeah,
but then they go through a long and fairly expensive QA process. So if it goes on the store and it's not going to work, and it doesn't work, they're the ones on the hook for it, not the person that made it. And they'll buy some stuff.
Right.
Steam won't buy. Epic will sign contracts that you can't do anything else for a while. But there are some places, Microsoft, Bethesda, they've bought mods and then put them up for pay. And my little brain says if you want some of the mods you want to offer up some mods for pay money, fine. If you buy them, they're yours. Do what you fucking want. But if you do that, you're also responsible for all the QA, any staff that needs to be dealt with, and so on and so forth. Which is why you don't see mod communities like Nexus Mods, Lovers Lab, all these neat places.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see them jumping through hoops to buy the mods, because who knows what quality of work you're getting.
They buying them for Stellar Blade.
Huh?
They buying them for Stellar Blade.
Who, Nexus?
People playing Stellar Blade, they buying them mods like crazy.
No, you know what? If somebody's buying mods for Stellar Blade, I want to know where those are, because I haven't seen them.
I saw the ridiculous, crazy ones where he's got like huge breath. The shit looks like the other chick has huge breasts and she looks pregnant or something like that, which is weird.
For Stellar Blade, I'll only buy Thomas the Tank Engine mods.
If you're Stellar Blade, you just go get Thomas the Tank Engine mods, because I'm pretty sure they already exist somewhere.
Yeah. They're mandatory.
No, they're mandatory for Skyrim. They're mandatory for Elder Scrolls.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know, the do's and don'ts of monetization. Don't buy microtransactions. It's that simple. Not complaining about their money.
You know what? If you're paying microtransactions or gotcha games in the full knowledge that you're going to get robbed, then it's on you.
Yeah,
that's pretty much my thing. If you're getting X amount of currency for it, then maybe a little bit less so. And if you're under the age of, I'd probably say 25, don't do it at all. Just don't do that.
DLC that expands the game is cool.
Well, only if it's not day one.
What do you mean?
Because day one DLC pisses me off.
Oh,
Yeah.
Because that shit that could have been left in the game.
Because that's cut content, essentially.
Oh, you like Destiny.
Well, and then Falcom in their Trail series has been particularly bad about that. But they don't usually they give you a complete product that works well without it. And then if by some chance you should happen to want cosmetic DLC, you're welcome to it. They don't care. They will be more than happy to sell you a whole shit ton of that for, I don't know, more than the actual game. Typically, they usually have anywhere between $60 and $120 worth of DLC that you can get cheaper if you buy them in bundles and shit. So,
The one thing people don't think about the microtransactions from like games like Candy Crush and Call of Duty Mobile, like reaches in like the billions in like a year.
no, they're not going to get into
Microsoft is getting all that money now.
But yeah, Microsoft is bringing in a whole shit ton. But just as Blizzard was doing before, they're not doing any differently in terms of in terms of evilness as far as letting World of Warcraft go to shit. World of Warcraft only exists as is because that. But people liked Warcraft. They liked Warcraft 2 more. Warcraft 3 is where it all caught on, and not long after, and by that time they were working on World of Warcraft. And once Warcraft 3 pretty much just caught fire, they said, okay, now might be a good time to break EverQuest in half.
Yeah.
Because people were telling me, after World of Warcraft came out, people were telling me that World of Warcraft was the earlier game. And my little brain said, no.
No, World of Warcraft came out around the same time as EverQuest 2.
That's correct.
Yeah. I remember I saw a Next Play episode with that reviewed both of those.
Yeah. EverQuest was the first to use that particular UI style too.
Yeah.
The whole thing with Microsoft and Epic going the long way around of not paying the Google fee was kind of weird.
Well,
But,
to be honest,
Epic
gets to do that. They get to do that now. They do. They get to do that. They get to do all of that. Why? Because that's just the way shit goes.
I believe the business term for that is big dick energy.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The fun part of it was they actually convinced a California court to do this. A California federal court. How the fuck they did that, I have no idea. Because that shit's been ideologically captured for who knows. It's a long time. It was a long time. But back to the original topic. If Victor here thinks he can get away, he can make this happen on NFTs, he's fucking welcome to it. By all means. If he wants to sell an NFT of a particular mod, he's welcome to do that. You could either buy you would either buy the NFT if you knew you were really gonna want it later. Like after it goes permanently offline because somebody didn't want to maintain it or they wanted it gone. Yeah, sure, go for it. I can actually see value in that. Not much, but some. Okay.
I don't see any guarantee that he's going to try and force NFTs onto mods, because that cheat sheet is for startups, and it's like there's a good chance that he treats startups differently than how he treats mods.
It's entirely possible. But what we're looking see, if I was him, that's the way I'd do it. Okay, you can either buy this as an NFT, and no matter what happens after this, they can't take it away from you, and it'll continue to be updated. You would actually own that mod. On the other hand, and by the way, I've seen games, mind you, stolen games, but games that were actually done as NFTs, and it does are done NFT based. They just can't take them away from you, whether they're for any reason or not at all. In fact, they were all the games I was thinking of, and I caught this one up from Slop's Game Room. You guys want to go check him out? He does good work. It was one of his scammer videos, I think. Don't quote me on that, and don't at me if you can't find it. But they were copyrighted games made by other people, and there were no licenses, no development costs, nothing paid by the guys that grabbed them. Then they were sold in packs as NFTs, which means if you want this, if you got it at the time and you want to go get it, 30 years from now, it's probably going to still be on the chain, which is why I would suggest he give everyone an option when they go to download their mods. You can download it for free and nobody will stop you. You can do whatever you want. Nobody cares. Mm-hmm. Or you can buy an NFT and guarantee that it will be there in 30 years, 50 years, 100 years, whatever. As long as the blockchain exists, you will still have access to those mods. That's what I would do. Is that what Victor's going to do? Don't know. But if he does do it that way, yippee. Not only is that a successful prediction for the crocodile squirrel, it's actually equitable. It's more or less, it's more or less equitable for everybody else. If you don't want to guarantee it's going to be there in 3, 4, 5 decades, or for your grandkids after you fucking expire, then that's it. You're good.
Yeah.
I don't know. Somebody's gonna have to sell me blockchain, Bitcoin, and all that crypto stuff to me
Not
one
necessarily.
day to get me interested.
Well, the pay to earn is actually came out of the blockchain. That was one of those things that started existing because blockchain.
Now I'm wondering how a family member would react to see an NFT in their grandfather's will.
Wow.
Well, if it was something for, well, and then of course NFTs can be sold. You would no longer have access to it, but somebody else would.
Yeah.
Right.
So what you do is you download your copy. See, and I have a good chunk of a significantly sized hard drive set aside for nothing but mods I pulled off the Nexus. And some of those things are very aged. For example, for Morrowind, there was what? Mall of Insanity. I can't find it online anymore. But if I go hunting through my mod pile, that mod drive, I know where it is. I know exactly where to find it.
Mm-hmm.
And not because I'm an idiot. What?
The only mods I've ever done was probably on Starfield, and that was the ones that fixed the damn game.
Well, no, hey. I happen to like extra content mods because that's a thing. And then we have GOG.com, who put together one-click solutions for Fallout London and what was it, Enderall,
Right.
which is Fallout 4 and Skyrim, respectively. So, are there uses for NFTs? Yes, if you're smart. Okay, if you're the average business owner wanting to get if you're the average corporate or business owner who seems to think that infinite growth is even possible, let alone demand that it happen, you're going to do something stupid. You're not going to do something like that. You're going to do something stupid and slowly wean them onto the NFTs or live service or what the fuck ever.
Right.
And we don't talk about live. I avoid live service games like the plague, probably because it is one.
The problem is a lot of the business owners. It's like, or a lot of the like people who want to, a lot of the business administrators that want to push NFTs are just they're basically NFT bros who think it'll fit in anything like a cranberry flavor. So they just think, this will be good for everything.
From the
no, we're not going
And
to
then
do that.
Ubisoft found out the hard way with sports.
Oh yeah.
They went bankrupt because they did the NFT thing. That's why they got into the
Ubisoft's
trouble
not
they got
bankrupt
into.
yet. They're just going down the plug hole.
No, they went bankrupt. Then they started the downward spiral of bad games, and then
they didn't go bankrupt before that. They did not go. No.
Made a dent.
I don't believe they've actually made any kind of a bankruptcy filing. Their investors, on the other hand, are nine kinds of pests. Unless they've made a bankruptcy filing, they haven't gone bankrupt. They haven't gone bankrupt yet. No, they're because if they pulled the bankruptcy card, then the Guillermos would be fucking out instantly.
Right.
Because their shit would get liquidated first, and they don't want that. They want control of Uber crap, and I can't imagine why.
No,
it's a family business. Nobody cares.
I always heard that after they did the NFT thing, they went bankrupt or they lost a lot of money on it or something like that.
Oh, I won't deny that.
A lot of money, but they did have a lot of money to lose, so they didn't quite go bankrupt.
That's where it is. There's a limit to what they can do. There's a limit. There really is. And maybe people don't like that thought, but it's true. There's a limit to what you can do. And until somebody actually officially files for bankruptcy, nobody's gone bankrupt.
Right.
That's just the way it is. Yes, they went broke. They're not bankrupt because they still had something with which to work money. Mind you, that shit's going downhill sideways. Assassin's Creed Shadow did really good at up front, and then it went completely to shit, and it's now still sitting at mostly negative. The critics squealed about how kick-ass it was, and everybody else is going, damn, y'all paid shills. You get the fuck out.
And Japan,
go away.
And Japan unanimously hated it for the gameplay video of destroying shrines.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The sad part of it is it's still not selling in Japan. They did actually sell a few copies in Japan, probably mostly to people who want to make the claim that they actually have all the games in the series.
Yeah.
I have all the games in the series with the exception of 4, right up where I can get to them. And no, I don't give a flag right now.
90% of those sales in Japan were hate purchases.
Oh, yeah.
People who bought it just to complain about it.
Well, and people, of course, buying it so they can put it on Nico Nico or YouTube and say, this is offensive. Mind you, I have bought games almost for that purpose. This game sucks. This game sucks a lot. And I'm sitting here playing it. Okay, this game sucks. Here's how it sucks. We're gonna do this right now.
Mhm.
Right.
So that's kind of that's why I have some of the crap games I have.
I guess that can bring us into the next thing.
Yeah, speaking of
About
which,
the game.
let us segue into our next topic. But first, let us pause 10 seconds for channel identification.
This is the W2 report with Sanji Humira. Here's Sanji.
Here.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to talk about Stop Killing Games in its movement in the gaming space and one YouTuber's quest to stop them. But first, a little background. This
One generation at a time.
Yes.
So that's the way they're doing it. They're erasing gaming history one at a time, and this actually goes back to the whole preservation copyright fight.
Yes.
That somebody might actually that we don't want. We're okay with it being archived, but somebody might download one of them and start enjoying them, and that's us. That's us out of money. No, it's not, because the games that they put up that get archived that way, they're archived that way for a reason. It's because nobody can fucking get them.
They are literally everywhere.
Some of these games can't be played on modern computers, and almost none of them on modern consoles. So, where's the money you're losing?
I feel like
Because
this is like an entitled thing, or maybe this is like the physical gamers.
No.
Fight back against digital.
That's downloads. That's downloads and everything. We're talking about Internet Archive having to pull 2/3 of its library. Okay.
Yeah.
The what I got from it was something about that they
Somebody
were
might
talking
deploy
about single player games with DRM that they don't want, and somebody said, "Oh, they're going to go after live service." And
nobody gives a flying rat's ass about live service. These guys do, and they're welcome to. And this actually, if I remember right, came out of the first of the Crew games.
Yes.
Yeah, they got mad about the Crew.
Yeah, they got mad about the Crew. A bunch of people got mad about Might and Magic X getting stuck in demo mode, even when you play, even when you bought the full fucking game.
It was a music thing. It was a music thing with the Crew. That's why they had to cut it off.
The Crew, actually, the menu music for the Crew, for the original menu music for the Crew was a banger.
I heard it was the music that got they had to take it off or whatever, and they couldn't, so they had to just shut down the game or something. Or is it the brand of cars that they can't keep the license for?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't.
I suppose it doesn't matter at this point because the servers were shut down earlier this year.
I mean, boo-hoo. I mean, I wish Battleborn would come back. I mean,
So Battleborn was actually supposed to be a not bad game.
Yeah, I can't play that. I can't play that. Even the single player mode requires online. You can't play it at all because they shut down the servers.
Well,
and didn't get no refund for that. Now there's instances of refunds, well, like Stadia, and where Concord day before. I mean, I guess we have that protection here in U.S. where we get a refund if it doesn't last very long. But
Actually, funnily, I got a good one for you. I have heard tell of Concord up and running again.
Oh, that's the alpha build or whatever. All you can do is just look at the menu and the galaxy thing.
No, I've been told that what I heard last night was that it was actually playable.
Oh,
They have a playable version of Concord back up and running, and apparently it's. And I don't know all of the details, but Clownfish TV talked about that on Rumble.
Oh, I heard it was just the main menu, and I was
No, once they get it up to quadruple A standards, then it will be just the menu.
Oh, I know, right?
But
yeah, I mean, EU laws are different from our laws. I mean, I heard GeForce Now over there, they don't have a feature, but we do over here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know. I'm
but
fully aware.
but to explain the initiative, Ross Scott organized the Stop Killing Games movement to leave games in playable states when publishers are done supporting the game on when online services are done for the game. However, one YouTuber in particular, does the name Pirate Software ring any bells?
I have heard tell of this place. I don't know. I don't remember exactly.
Well, here's some of his greatest hits discussing the Stop Killing Games movement compiled by Upper Echelon.
Oh shit, no, this is actually really dumb. It's used car salesman garbage. This is shit. It's shit. Not only do I not want to back this, I'm going to actively tell people not to. That is awful. That is a horrible goddamn direction. That's awful, dude. No, eat my entire ass. The level of stupid that I just had to receive was like sitting on Twitter for 12 hours. This shit sucks. That's a really stupid ass move. That's an incredibly stupid ass move. I think this is ass. This is complete garbage. All of this can eat shit then. I drop the mask entirely. I have no qualms about that. They can eat my entire ass. The whole thing. That sounds stupid as shit.
Well, I basically have no words.
I don't think there's any words to be had, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, the internet was looking for a villain, and Pirate Software basically gave him one.
Yeah, to sum up the Stop Killing Games, it's basically asking publishers that after they abandon the game,
Leave it in a
please
playable
don't bury
state,
it.
please.
Yeah, it's like, yeah.
Well, you know,
He's calling it asking publishers to have a plan for end of life so that it's still playable in some manner after they abandon it.
yeah. Well, it depends on on what you consider some manner, because there's
Well,
kind of
it's
a
like-
limit to that.
Yeah, but it's like, well, it's like it is unclear because it's like it is a movement and not like some proposed bill.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like but at the very least, like boot up an executable and play the game somehow.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, if you really want to take a look at the crew, the entire game can basically be played offline.
Yeah.
Assuming that Ubisoft will let you.
Yeah. And
But not only did they kill the servers, but they also did an MTK on
On the files.
on the game itself. It went poof, just entirely.
Yeah, the same thing happened to Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. That was one of the more famous examples, even.
Well, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood is still available. The original version of the original edition of the crew is not, like, at all.
I mean, I mean, it's just we don't typically weigh in on internet drama, and for bloody good reason.
See, I'm an old fuck, and I consider that the games that came out in the early part of the last part of last century, last about quarter of it, deserve to exist. They deserve to continue to exist, and they deserve to be remembered for what they are and what they were. They do. They deserve this.
Yeah, the only reason we're covering this internet drama is because it's intersecting with consumer advocacy.
Bingo!
Yep. And the more you know, and knowing is half the battle. I mean, honestly, as we prepare to wrap up here, it's honestly, it's like half of the stuff that that's surrounding pirate software, we glossed over, and we glossed over it intentionally because it's not even relevant to the controversy itself. It's like
It's like the problem is we want to keep playing the games we bought.
Exactly.
Well, and on top, and here's the thing: they're not. If we're doing this thing, if we're not at we're just archiving what we own, the things that we should own, things that we have paid for, et cetera, et cetera. If I have a physical copy of a thing, then I own it. Period. That's the end of the conversation. If it gets damaged or destroyed in some way, that's on me.
That's the old school way of gaming, really, in my mind. Because nowadays they could just take a game, in no time or no reason, just because it's damaging their company or whatever.
Well, and see, here's my final word on the subject. Let me show you this one, FCAT. Okay, if you do these things, you start making them unplayable, people will figure out a way to make them playable, and in a lot of games it's not very difficult.
Right.
And then they're gonna tell you to kiss their ass. Period.
I mean, I was there on Xbox 360 when they were shutting down the Halo 2 servers.
Mm-hmm.
I was there for Battleborn, Shady, and all of them.
But Halo, the Halo games, and this is the same thing with Call of Duty games. You've at least got something you've at least got there something you can sit on, and you still have a game. You still have a thing that you can play. The multiplayer is it's multiplayer, and very few people give a flying rat's ass about that.
Right.
Well, the thing with the live service, they want the companies to hand over basically private servers to them, or make private servers, so they can make private servers or whatever, so they can continue playing.
And you know what? I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. If you're talking about a pure multiplayer game, or you're talking about some other stuff similar, sure. Give us some source code. Give us what we need to build private servers, and we will just fuck right off. You won't have to worry about us ever again. I'm thinking they're not going far enough. What they need to do is they need to go back and they need to fix all the games that they've crippled. Might Magic 10. And make them playable completely without me having to go do a bunch of edits and then a workaround.
Now, my only pushback for the DRM or the Nouveau kind of games, yes, they do cause performance issues, but they're there for protection against from you stealing it.
Honestly, protection from you stealing it. Somebody's gonna do that anyway. It doesn't, and That's why for a lot of companies, and Ubisoft is not one of them, but as far as I can tell, for a lot of those that put de novo in initially, they take it back out after 6 months to a year, and there's a reason for that too. People get all pissy when you put de novo in the games, and unless you're some fucker like me who, if I miss a release date, I often don't get to do it at all.
Yeah, de novo inconveniences
Xbox was
only
the first
the paying
one to do it.
customers.
Well, any DRM inconveniences the major the people that would pay for your game. De novo,
Xbox.
de novo to a point will confound the pirates for a while.
Yeah.
And right now, I don't know of anybody on the scenes actively doing de novo. I think they ran the last one off, but I'm not sure. I'm talking about the people playing and demanding de novo fix it.
When the Xbox One launched, the DRM was so hardcore. They were
Everybody was calling it
GameStop out of business.
Yeah.
Well, to be perfectly honest, at the same time, by the end of announcement day, everybody in their fucking brother was calling it the X-Bone, and then they put it back in. Then they put most of it back in for the Then they put most of it back in for the Xbox One X, and I'm going or the Xbox Series X, and I'm like no, we're not doing this. It's not gonna happen. Don't think you can make shit happen, because it's just not gonna.
Actually, I will say the best implemented DRM is Steam's, because it works in a way that it's by and large inobtrusive to the gaming experience, and the only way to bypass it is to not connect to the internet. Yeah.
Actually, there. Okay, that's not true. There are ways to bypass it.
Yeah.
There are definitely ways to bypass that. Are we gonna? Or is anybody gonna do that? No, probably not.
No, because Steam is so convenient. That's the other part.
Steam is convenient. Yes, Steam is largely convenient in the other way.
That's the largest part of what combats piracy.
Mm-hmm. If you make it convenient and all of your shit is unobtrusive, then there is absolutely zero reason anyone's going to cause you a problem.
Yeah.
There just isn't. No one's going to do anything. No one's going to be rude. No one's going to do all the things. Make stupid shit.
Okay, so like if Destiny 1 servers shut down, I wouldn't feel bad about it. Like, I knew that day was gonna come 10 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Now, as far as getting back what's already been refunded to me, like Stadia or Concord, no, I don't think we're owed that.
Well,
back.
Well, if you bought a copy of Concord, they should have referred when they shut it down 3 weeks later. They should have just said, "No, fuck that. We're just gonna give the money back and make everybody happy people." That's what they did. However, if you spent money beyond that for cosmetics and shit, get bent.
Yes.
No, we got the money back for those too. We got the money back for literally everything and the hardware.
Ooh.
With Stadia. Oh, yeah.
I'm talking about Concord specifically, but okay.
Yeah. Well, Concord, you just got your money back for whatever version they bought. That would be PS5 or PT.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. It's weird. It's just funny to me that they actually have an initiative around this.
Yeah.
And this is mainly what I covered is like games dying all the time. Like Spectre Divide, like that one shut down recently. Like
Yeah, it's like, especially the better the game is, the worse it feels when it dies.
Well,
Like,
yeah, that's
I-
always going to be a thing, though.
like I know Cowboy would want, Marvel Avengers back. He would probably want Friday the 13th back. Keep Anthem alive.
All right. With that, I'd like to thank FCAT for joining us this week. And with that, I am Sanji Himura. Thank you all for watching this week. Remember to do all the YouTubey things, and beware, the tax man cometh.